So just to start off, my name is Lucia Bellino. I've met a lot of you because I'm a returning USIP intern. Someone have met last year, or I might have interviewed you this year, which we'll talk about later. I recently graduated from Rutgers University with a bachelor's degree in Earth and Planetary Sciences, and I'll be entering a PhD program this fall at the University of Texas at Austin to study planetary science and geochemistry. Kind of last year during my internship and just prior experiences, I've had a lot of time to practice writing and social media for science communication. But this summer, I was really hoping that I'd be able to expand my skill set to really encompass graphic design and video production into the Science Outreach Toolkit.
And I'm Zach. This is my first year as a communications intern. I'm a rising senior at University of Colorado, Denver. I major in biology. I'm minoring in communications. And this has just been my first real science communication experience. So I've just been hoping to kind of get experience in as many fields as I can, kind of absorbing skills as I go.
And so really our overall goals for the internship were to increase awareness of EarthScope as we look forward to this merger, and also educate about Geodesy. Additionally, we were trying to increase representation in a variety of ways throughout materials. And so we were able to do this in a lot of different facets through social media, the What is Geodesy webpage, graphic design, interviews and blog posts, and video production, which will all go into detail further.
And so kind of the only project that we've actually been working on for this entire internship has been social media. And so that's basically, just us doing our best to show off what's going on, right? We're showing kind of field work, educational videos, data visualizations, and some particular content like Geodesy Odyssey, which is basically where we take a random photo from one of our probe stations, post it on social media, and try and get people to guess where it is. And then Fieldwork Friday, where we show off different fieldwork teams and what they're doing. And so this utilized Hootsuite, which is basically just a kind of an aggregating website that we use to basically post on all our different social media outlets and get kind of data back telling us what's going on.
And to show some examples of those initiatives and social media posts that Zach just talked about, here we have some examples of what we created this summer. Even though UNAVCO has a bunch of amazing geodetic educational resources, one of the things that's really unique about UNAVCO are the incredible field photos that we get from our field engineers. And so we're able to post this on social media. And so here we have 2 examples of Fieldwork Friday, getting to show the campaign at Mount St. Helens, and thank somebody who's working in Mexico who's gone to a lot of these different NOAA stations, and also just be able to, through Geodesy Odyssey, show a lot of the different, the broad reaching impacts of our different GPS and borehole stations across the globe.
And then, so one of the perks of using Hootsuite is we get back kind of this engagement data, which tells us that people are interacting with our content, and more Geodesy people are taking notice.
So one of the things that we actually started last summer and then continued at the spring and then this summer was the What is Geodesy webpage. And so even though there are a lot of educational resources online that kind of describe specific geodetic techniques, there's not one website that has everything from a basic level to a more advanced level, encompassing a lot of different geodetic techniques like INSAR and GPS, all within one resource. And so that was one of the initiatives that we had, was to create this webpage that describes a lot of geodetic techniques, starting in the basics. So somebody who has no idea what geodesy is can come in and read this webpage and actually gain a fundamental understanding of the different techniques and applications of geodesy. So I was able to write up many of the different GPS web pages regarding geodesy in society and how we use GPS. So the theory behind GPS, like what's the difference between GPS and GNSS, but also the application. So how we use GPS to monitor earthquakes or volcanoes. And so I was able to learn a lot about geodesy and hopefully make these really accessible educational resources where people can come in at any level of understanding and gain a lot of education about geodesy.
All right, and so kind of the first project that we started working on at the start of this internship was graphic design, which has been very interesting to kind of learn in a professional sense. We use Adobe Illustrator, and these are some of the first designs we whipped up for What is Geodesy posters and graphics. So as you can see, there's a satellite that Lucia designed, and then I made a kind of a probe station and solar panel combination there.
And so we were able to create these relatively simple illustrations to kind of try out Illustrator for the first time for ourselves and explain these really complex topics like trilateration for the What is Geodesy page with relatively simple illustrations that we created.
And then a lot of what we also did was poster revision and rebranding in accordance with the new creation of Earthscope. We needed to kind of go back and change around the labels on a lot of these old posters so they're current. And then also while we were doing that, we were able to do a little bit of cleanup of, you know, specific graphics and as well as fonts. And so that was an interesting process.
And then we have some before and after. So here's one post that I revised, the what GPS can tell us about Earth. And so we've noticed some things that we could revise. And so now we have the before on the left and the after on the right that not only have the Earthscope logo now, but also have some other graphic design changes. Additionally, we were able to do some like sticker revision and rebranding. So to continue to educate through these posters about Geodesy, but then also to raise awareness about Earthscope through stickers that we can hand out at conferences and other events. So these are just the stickers that we already had that now have the Earthscope logo on them as opposed to the UNAPCO logo. Here are some more, and here are the last ones that you're probably all familiar with that now have the Earthscope logo.
All right, and then kind of what we went to after sticker revisions was actually creating kind of new sticker designs. And this was a very fun process. After we had learned the ins and outs of Adobe Illustrator, we were able to be more kind of artistic in our expression. As you can see here, there's a kind of a loose mock-up I made of a sticker I wanted to do of like a probe station on a cliff at midnight looking over a valley. And kind of thanks to what I learned over the course of us, you know, developing our skills in Illustrator, I was able to create that design on the right, which I am very proud of. And then another sticker design I worked on was this mock-up I tried to make of a kind of a weathered, beaten up old TI 4100 GPS receiver. And this was a little less successful. It taught me about kind of, you know, using different processes in Illustrator, such as the 3D shapes tool, which I learned was new and unstable at the time, as well as the process of adding this weathered beating effect, which was making a square and cutting it up in a bunch of different ways, which, you know, maybe wasn't too effective, but I enjoyed the process of kind of using creative problem solving to kind of get a desired result that you had in your head.
And so additionally, because we were able to rebrand all the old stickers that we had, a lot of them are really Geodesy specific. So we were kind of hoping to expand the representation of what Earthscope does throughout our sticker design. So not only the geodetic techniques that we have, but also the seismology that IRIS is bringing into this merger. And so here we have a sticker that shows the various applications of that IRIS and UNAPCO both monitor and will continue to with their Earthscope. But we have both the GPS antenna here, as well as a seismometer to kind of show all of the different facets that Earthscope uses to monitor natural hazards. Additionally, we want to highlight all of the different teams that we have at Earthscope. So to have this sticker here, that's a polar sticker that I designed so that people who work in specific fields can represent the work that they do. Kind of taking a step further, I think we're all really familiar with a lot of the field work that our field engineers do because it's a lot of like the really cool photos that we have, but there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes at Earthscope. And so we created this sticker that has, you know, the really cool volcano and helicopter, but also has actual code that we were able to get from one of the engineers to represent all the different work that goes into Earthscope and the research that we conduct. And then you might be familiar with this sticker, at least the I like my crust to form part. I got to really have a fun time here creating a sticker that had this illustration of the pie that has the crust kind of as crustal deformation. So it was a great process to learn to take feedback and to continually change the design to kind of accurately represent what we were going for in terms of the theory of having crustal deformation and having these unconformities represented in this pie crust.
Right, now this is something a lot of you are probably familiar with, intern interviews, which we pretty much did for the second half of the internship. And this basically just involved, writing up questions, asking them to as many interviews as we could talk to, and then writing them up after the fact and adding them to UNAVCO's website as intern spotlights. And I just found this to be a very kind of fulfilling experience to like learn about just the many different, not only the many different things people do, right, relating to geoscience or any kind of scientific field in general, but also like, the path that one can take to reach a location, which I just found to be, very interesting and allowed me to do a lot of kind of introspection on, where I'm going as well. And now this is a video production, which we've just kind of been doing in these last few weeks. So basically, I've done a lot of video editing kind of as a hobby. And that's how I learned. I'm pretty self-taught in that. But it was interesting because in this, it's basically I was combining my hobby of something with kind of academic and interest in something. And kind of the combination of that was very satisfying. So this was in-person video interviews where I grabbed the UNAVCO camera equipment and went to CU Boulder to interview Helena and Kaneni. They were both great about it. As you can see, that's a picture of me buckling the camera into the passenger seat of my mom's Prius so it doesn't get damaged. But yeah, this has just been, it's been very interesting to kind of use these skills that I've learned primarily for, my own self-expression and use them kind of in a scientific professional sense.
Unlike Zach, I really did not have any video production experience, and I had never used Premiere Pro before. So my video production project was the RESESS video, making a new RESESS video. So it was great for me to get to practice using Premiere Pro for the first time and actually get to create a video that will hopefully be able to engage more students and interns in the RESESS program.
Right. So our conclusions. So some of the things that I've really learned and hope to, remember after I've taken them away from this internship is that, one, scientific progress takes a village, right? Like if you're hoping to make, progress on any specific thing or learn something new, it takes a bunch of different people with a bunch of different specializations and a bunch of different fields to make it happen. And everyone kind of, works together to do a greater goal, which I think is very inspiring. Second, your path is not set in stone. I learned this, from the interviews. A lot of people have taken, varied and different paths that, definitely are not the straight shot directly to their career goal. So, that's kind of taught me, hey, even if you, graduate with like, a master's in chemistry or something, that doesn't mean you're bound to this one thing for the rest of your life. Also, having many skills is good. This internship has taught me both, how to repurpose my own personal skills for a professional setting, as well as, teach me new ones and help me improve skills like writing, interviewing people. That was a big one, graphic design. And, fourth, I think this is a big cliche, remote work, time management is important, especially when you're your own, you're your own manager. You gotta be harsh. You gotta stick to a regimen.
I have learned so much about geodesy throughout the past 2 summers. I think the first time that I heard the word geodesy was when I was looking at UNAVCO's website preparing for my interview last summer. And so this summer getting to do like write up the What is Geodesy website and do all of that research has been so educational for me, where I was kind of writing these articles up from the very basic level to more advanced, and that's how I was learning it as well, from a more basic level to a more advanced level. So I've learned so much about geodesy, and then I've also been able to gain a lot of varied skills. So I feel like I've gained a lot of tools and confidence in graphic design, and that was great because they had this very gradual buildup where we built these really simple figures at first for the What is Geodesy page, and then we were able to actually create our own stickers from scratch that are much more complex, much more artistic and creative. I also was able to practice my interviewing skills because it's really hard to make somebody feel comfortable in a half an hour time slot when you're talking about their background in geoscience and their research. When you've never met them before, you've met them once before. So I feel like I've gained a lot in terms of how you're actually able to conduct an interview, but also able to recognize what makes a good interviewee, which I'll take forward with me because definitely I was really impressed with some interns who were able to really clearly and concisely explain their research, and I had no idea what they were doing beforehand, and I feel like I walked away with a great understanding of their research, and I hope that I'll be able to take those skills and take that insight and be able to take it with me into future interviews. I also was really excited to get away from the like highly technical scientific writing that I'm used to in college, to kind of write these like broad overview introductory blog posts that are much more journalistic in nature, that just really offer a much higher understanding, not super technical, of the research that these interns are doing. And then, like we talked about, it was my first time to use Premiere Pro, so that was really educational to be able to experiment with that program and create a video. So I feel like I've expanded my science outreach toolkit way beyond writing, which was my goal for the summer. And that is invaluable to me because I'm hoping to someday be a researcher and a science communicator and educator. And these skills are going to be so important to create accessible creative resources in a variety of formats. So being able to create figures for papers, but also to go on social media, to be able to communicate findings clearly, educational resources to share with students, use these more journalistic skills to share about my research to a broader audience. So I'll be able to take these skills with me far into my career.
And yeah, in my future, I hope to be, you know, a science communicator working with an organization. And it's been really nice kind of, you know, as a biology major, kind of learning how the process is of, you know, learning a new topic and then trying to figure out, okay, well, what's the best way to, you know, tell this to other people? That's been giving me some experience in science communication that I don't think I've, you know, gotten anywhere else. And also this internship has definitely helped me kind of learn to use the skills that I originally developed kind of just as a hobby and use those in conjunction with my, you know, academic interests, and just the kind of, you know, satisfaction you can get from that, I can't really describe.
So we would just like to thank our mentor, Scott Johnson, for his endless feedback and patience this summer, guiding us through all these new programs and different initiatives, as well as the entire education and community engagement team for really making us feel like we are part of the team and valuing our opinions and thoughts throughout our internship. And of course, thank you to all of the other interns who allowed us to interview them and sent us photos and allowed Zach to record them to use in our videos.
Great, that was fantastic. Do we have any questions? Glenn has a question.
Yeah, it's more of a comment. Great work, wonderful new designs that you guys have put together, and it sounds like you had a very good experience through the internship program.
Thank you so much.
Other questions? I feel like you guys did a great job laying out exactly what you did and why. So
thank you.
Addison would like to know where they can get some of these stickers.
I think that we're going to print them, right, Scott? We're going to print them out and we'll be able to hand them out at conferences and whatnot.
Soon.
Soon.
Great answer. Marianne would like to know, how do we get the polar sticker template? So not the sticker, the template.
I think I can send that over, I think.
I will be on that.
Were there any ideas of maybe redesigning the rulers? So when we go to conferences, there's a lot of talk about those rulers. Kids today, they've never seen holographic rulers before, so it's like brand new technology to them. Did you guys think about things besides stickers?
We had the one Geodesy bookmark, but we didn't actually do the ruler, so definitely something to keep in mind to have in the future. I didn't even think about that.